I'm curious how often people are drinking these days. For years, I would drink 2 to 3 times per week, and now I'm closer to 6 to 7. Is it just me?
The beautiful thing is we're all human. This all happens. You can do whatever you want. There's consequences, but do whatever you want.
People are going to do what they want to do.
100%.
Bottom line.
The baby's crying and the dog's barking. I'm like, you're bad. Welcome to Two Girls, One Thread.
KJ, I have a question for you. Who or where do you go when you have a question that maybe feels like a little bit embarrassing or vulnerable? Do you have like a go-to person or solution?
Probably Google.
Oh, okay. So you're going for the World Wide Web.
I'm a little anxious about ChatGPT. I feel like I don't want them to know that much about me. So I guess Google knows more about me.
AI isn't AI like when you Google stuff, the top result now is AI.
Yeah, it
right?
is.
So,
but it feels like a little less personalized.
But what if it is like a personal kind of like more complex question that you maybe need a little bit more nuance than Google? Or do you just type the whole thing out and figure if something on Reddit will pop up? Genuinely asking.
Yeah, I guess so. What do you do?
I go through my contacts and I start calling everybody in alphabetical order until somebody picks up. Yeah, I'm definitely more likely to like ask somebody on a phone call, slip it in between like other random stuff and then, or just come out and say it. You know? I'm not afraid to like tap into people's expertise. I mean, famously, your sister is my accountant now. So, hey, if they answer the phone, that's kind of on them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome back to Two Girls, One Thread. Today we're doing No Stupid Questions Part 2. We actually found that there were so many brilliant questions on Reddit that we had to make room for 2 episodes. That's how I see it. A lot of curious, cool cats around. So, KJ, can you kick us off?
Of course.
Please enlighten me.
From No Stupid Questions. Are men really that much stronger than women? I'm a man, and recently I've been seeing posts about women being weaker than men exponentially. It makes a lot of sense that the average guy is stronger than the strongest woman. Other posts say that her deadlift isn't that heavy. I do lift weights and can deadlift over most women's weight, but I thought it was just because women don't work out as much. Personally, I have never been in a situation where I've had to fight a woman or pin one down, so I don't know. I just thought women were slightly less strong, if not equal, but I've been seeing things that say otherwise.
So are men really physically stronger than women, just like across the board? I think there's a lot of kind of people out there. I think it would be really hard to really calculate that. I think like the obvious answer is like, okay, the way that men build muscle mass and then like after puberty, like maybe there's like a higher chance that men are physically stronger than women. That's definitely the way that our society is set up. From the time you're in elementary school, I need 3 strong boys to come over and carry this desk, or it's definitely set up that way. I mean, I don't know, maybe because I'm around a lot of artsy boys. I think it really depends. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I think there's a lot of men that are stronger than women. I think there's a lot of women that are stronger than men. I don't think the strongest woman is weaker than the average man, especially now. I mean, maybe if we went back in history now, like a lot of guys, they're not leaving like a climate controlled room. They've never really like necessarily physically exerted themselves. They're embodying a soldier on a video game that they're playing, so they probably feel really strong. What do you think, though?
I don't mind giving men the you're physically stronger card. I do think they hold I do think they hold muscle differently. I think women can have weird pockets of strength. Like I know, I do reformer Pilates. I think women have pretty strong like
you're a beast.
Inner thigh muscles, maybe more than men. I also have a very strong lower left arm from shopping over the years. Like putting clothes on it.
But you've put in the work. That's not something that you just like were born with. That wasn't
strength
genetic.
training.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think men are great. Put them to work.
Put them to
I
work.
don't mind using them as physical labor.
Yeah, if you're so strong, go plow that field over there.
You can take out the trash.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the real equalizer would be, let's have one of these little geniuses up in Silicon Valley who's doing all this stuff. Let's have somebody figure out a way that men can deliver all the babies.
Okay.
And be the ones that are experiencing having periods their whole life and giving birth to children. And then let's see who's physically stronger. Because I think that anyone who has even heard of the concept of childbirth, like the idea that you're going to say men are literally fainting, they can't even be in the room and even help their wife breathe through it. So I think like, yeah, are you talking about just who's more likely to be able to lift up a boulder? I don't know.
I do think probably we'll call it even in this regard. Men, we can call them stronger, but I do believe the average woman has a higher pain tolerance than the average man.
That I think is beyond undeniable. But yeah, I still I'm not going to give it. I'm not going to give it to the boys.
Okay.
I'll give it to some of the boys for sure. I'll give it to a lot of the boys. I'm not giving it to all the boys. Because ever since a couple months ago, I learned that I could do one pull-up. I really feel like that has really kind of put things into focus for me.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you so much. Okay, no stupid questions. This is from No Stupid Questions. How do women use the bathroom easily when wearing a one-piece swimsuit or leotard? All of my partners that I've been with have always worn bikinis, which to me makes sense and is easy to understand. I can't help but feel like it must be annoying and inconvenient to strip it all off when you want to pee for 10 seconds. Is it as annoying as it seems, or is it something I'm not understanding as a guy? So, how do women use the bathroom easily when wearing a one-piece swimsuit or leotard?
I would say you just strip it all down.
Yeah.
It probably depends on age and maybe sobriety. Because I think if you're open to a little bit more sloppiness, you might just pull it over.
Yes.
If you really have to go. But that is kind of gross. So I think in good hygiene, you just disrobe fully, which is frustrating. But some bodysuits do have the little
snaps.
The snaps, which I think is helpful.
I would agree with that. Yeah. This question just made me laugh because it's so earnest, like the guy asking that. And my immediate response is, we don't do it easily.
Yes.
That's not an easy thing to do.
I think the worst, though, forget about one piece that's easy enough, is like a jumpsuit.
Yes.
Like if you have the sleeves, if you have the back zipper, that can be challenging. If you're out for the night, then you're having to fully zip yourself in and out when you go to the bathroom. That's tough.
That is tough. I do think, like, the fact of the matter is, whether people want to admit it or not, most women have had the experience of wearing some kind of leotard or one piece and needing to go to the bathroom and having to strip down completely naked in a public bathroom, which I'm not sure how that is more hygienic than just like pulling aside the fabric. But there's nothing worse than when you are usually, let's be honest, tipsy for some reason. When we're deciding we're going to get drunk, we're like, let's make it as hard as possible for ourselves. But it's like, there's nothing worse than like being a little buzz, you're feeling good, you're in your little leotard, you have to go to the bathroom, you don't want to piss yourself, you finally completely get naked, and then you get like a knock on the door, or God forbid you don't lock it, and then you're just wearing your like little ankle boots and you're naked. Like, that's got to be embarrassing. I would feel bad for someone that would happen to. Never me, though.
It's too funny.
That's a good question. I don't think that's a stupid question.
I think so too. From No Stupid Questions. Adults, how many days per week do you drink alcohol?
Oh.
I'm curious how often people are drinking these days. For years, I would drink 2 to 3 times per week, and now I'm closer to 6 to 7. Is it just me?
I definitely don't think it's just them. This is all anecdotal and is heavily based just on where we live, our experiences, and who we're around. I feel like most adults, like not college or whatever, but like most adults, I kind of feel like are drinking almost every day, having like a little glass of wine, a little beer, a little.
I think so too.
Or they're not really drinking. It feels like it's kind of on one side or the other.
Yeah.
You know?
especially with meals, I think it can kind of be a little bit of hair of the dog. If you enjoy the taste of beer with food, you can easily get into the habit of having a beer or two every night.
Of course.
Wine as well.
Yeah. And then it's also just part of like a lot of cultures. It's part of a lot of work cultures, right? And it's like you're working a job where it is kind of expected. Everybody's going out after, maybe not every night. I mean, definitely as like a comic, like it's definitely an extreme. Most comics either are like, not all, but most are like fully sober in recovery or kind of do go a little bit hard. And it's tough because like you're in a bar every night. We're often paid in drink tickets, which is crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think it's tough too because like when you're in college and you're drinking to get drunk, that's a little bit different of a dynamic because as you get older, I think mealtime is much more associated with alcohol. And so that's when it's almost like the slow creep of like now you're drinking with meals 6 to 7 times a week.
Right, because you are famously eating every day. So that gets a little tricky. I think people are hitting it before the meal.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people's routine is they get home from work and that's like what they're using to almost in their brain signify like crack a beer.
Let's see, top comment, 72 male, drank 3 to 4 drinks 3 to 4 times a week for years. Now my liver warning light is flashing. Doc said lay off drinking and Tylenol. Now I drink maybe 2 drinks a week, not missing it as much as I thought I would. Remember, your body is keeping score.
The body does keep score. That's very true.
Usually once a week on Saturdays, sometimes twice a week on both Fridays and Saturdays. I'll split a bottle of wine with my spouse most Friday evenings. Sometimes we finish it. We might have drinks other times, but plenty of weeks go by without any alcohol. This is probably as much as we've ever had, 52 female and 54 male.
Okay. I wonder, just out of curiosity, because you said there's no stupid questions, do you think that it is like better or worse on whatever scale you're using to judge that, to be with somebody who doesn't drink at all during the week, but then like on the weekends, like Friday or Saturday, like they're going fucking hard, or somebody that is like just consistently, they have a glass of wine every night to unwind, but it's the same amount of drinks maybe in total or whatever.
I guess it's your personal preference sort of thing, like how you enjoy consuming alcohol as well. I think it gets a little bit washed, like when adults continue to be like visibly intoxicated. I think there's that sweet spot of, 2 to 3 drinks if you want to get that little buzz. But to be going that hard in the paint, unless it's like a special boys' night or, celebratory.
Every boys' night is special.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. But it's tough, like tough. Professional sports, the beauty is there's always something in season. So there's always a game to watch, always an excuse to have a few beers. Yeah,
do you think if alcohol was just completely non-existent or banned, do you think that sports would be as popular? I think like most things wouldn't be as popular because it's kind of like a built-in excuse to drink. Do you think golfing would be as popular if it was a dry golf course?
That's true.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Comedy clubs would close because that's what they're making money on. Damn. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is from No Stupid Questions. To people who regularly use ChatGPT for school, do you still think you're learning? I don't mean this to be rude. I genuinely want to know. I don't use it, but most of my classmates do. For assignments, open book tests, whatever they can use it for. If you do use it, do you believe you're still retaining information? Do you feel well informed for your eventual profession? Do you feel bad about using it, or is it more of a flippant decision? I understand the why. I just don't know if I'd feel comfortable going into a job without having done the work myself, struggled myself. But I also know that struggling isn't always the most reasonable option. So do you think that you're still learning if you're using ChatGPT while you're in school?
I think ChatGPT is kind of just an aggregator of information. So I guess the question more, how much information that you learn, period, do you retain is kind of, I guess, a little bit more interesting. I do think that a lot of learning for any job happens on the job sort of thing. And there's inevitably, like if you're a lawyer, you're constantly going to be referencing legal material to draw your professional conclusions from it, etc. So I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think it's possible that you're learning as much because like say for example, like I enrolled in like a basic just like English class in college right now, and the assignments are you're gonna have to read a couple of books and write a couple of essays and all these things. It's like if I just put into ChatGPT and you could for sure probably pass a class without ever reading any of the books or thinking about any of the things, and you just would put the prompt or put the essay in and then it sends it back, and then I guess you get good at editing, and most people don't even do that. A lot of people are just copying and pasting it directly. How could it be possible that you could learn as much? I think, I'm not like fully anti ChatGPT. I definitely think it has a lot of usefulness in certain ways, but I think, I don't see how you could possibly be learning as much in school. And then we're thinking of college, like we're thinking of how to get away with like, I can't even imagine. I really think that it's kind of a waste. Like I would feel bad, like wasting my time, and if someone's paying for you to go to school, wasting theirs, because you're not doing anything. You're learning how to use ChatGPT better. Yeah. I don't know.
I do wonder though, like I've been very into over, let's say the past 10 years, asking Google questions. Like if I think of a question, I search on my phone, I Google it. Whereas I was always surprised how people don't instinctively go to Google to answer questions. I guess if like a question poses to them, it just doesn't bother them, sort of thing. So I wonder if ChatGPT now is a slightly different format that people have become a little bit more inquisitive. Maybe. Yeah. I was actually listening to NPR recently, and they said there was this big controversy in the writers community because a young female writer, it was revealed that she used ChatGPT to write most of her debut novel. Yeah. And so essentially they were kind of debating the ethics, like, of authors using ChatGPT.
Well, she didn't write it. Then you didn't write it. Yeah. That's the answer.
So I think the publisher ultimately dropped her.
Yeah, because you didn't write it. And then it's like we're just using a computer to do all of that versus like the actual person's thoughts and experiences. I think it's kind of scary when you're thinking about like elementary school age too, or middle school, because they are all using ChatGPT, and they're not using ChatGPT. They're using a bunch of other apps and websites that like most people haven't even heard of, and they're really good at it and they're really fast. And like the teachers in schools are not even able to really keep up with it, and it's not always necessarily like a clear plagiarism, but I've seen a lot of like assignments where at the top it's like no AI or like not using AI for this, because it's like you can't teach someone to read by putting into ChatGPT, teach me how to read. I don't know, that seems a little scary.
From No Stupid Questions: do you lock your door while you're in your house? As a woman, I lock the door when I'm home for my own safety. It's as important as locking the door when I'm not home. But I have a male roommate who constantly leaves the door unlocked. We live in an apartment complex that is not gated. I often wake up in the morning to find the door unlocked, even though I locked it behind me the last time I came home. Honestly, it just makes me uneasy. Am I weird, or is he careless?
Is the question, is she weird or is he careless? Or is
do you lock the door when you're home?
100%. Yes. There's no question. I'm definitely locking the door as soon as I'm home. I'm big on locks. Yeah, I'm with you there as well. Let's see, top comment. My drunk neighbors have accidentally tried my door instead of their own before. They meant no harm, just a drunken mistake. But I'm a woman living alone, so yes, I lock my door. I think if you've ever had someone break into your apartment, enter your apartment without your permission, like you would definitely just like never, I don't know. I've also only ever lived in like big cities. I don't really trust random people for very obvious reasons, but I don't know. I don't even know how that would feel like so peaceful, I guess. Like
maybe, to not lock your door?
Yeah, I guess if you lived like somewhere really remote, but then to me that would even be more of an argument of like,
like in cold blood.
Like why would you not? I don't know, maybe I'm just like not that trusting of a person. Like a lot of people don't even lock their car doors, which I also find endlessly fascinating and astonishing. Like they're just like, oh well, if somebody wants to get into the car bad enough, they'll find a way. And it's like, well, you don't have to open the door for them.
That's true.
Damn, I sound like I'm about 500 years old. And I love that for me. Okay, this is from No Stupid Questions. What's the big deal with children on leashes? I feel like it gives them, quote, freedom without the potential of them running into the street and getting hit by a car or a raccoon. But the few times I've seen this online, people always leave nasty comments or have something to say about it. I don't get it. So what's the big deal with children on leashes, KJ?
I haven't seen that many children on leashes, but I did have a younger brother when we were babysat when we were younger. The woman would put him on a leash, so like when we were in the backyard, so he wouldn't.
In the backyard?
Yeah, so like he wouldn't dig in the flowers.
Stop.
So that's the extent of my exposure to children on leashes. But
A child that you babysat?
no, my brother, we had like an elderly aunt who would babysit us, and she would put him on a leash to the patio table so he wouldn't go digging in her flowers.
Oh.
Which I guess maybe was annoying for her, but that's like, I think if you're walking around, you should be able to manage the child without the leash.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen people skiing with a kid on a leash.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't know how to ski, so I'm like,
I think just so they don't like,
right. Fly down the
fly
mountain.
down the mountain.
Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable. I mean, I think like the nasty comments about it, I think it's just because like it's objectively a little silly and a little, I would say, funny to see a kid on a leash. But why all the hate? Yeah, I mean, I've seen cute ones. I've seen little kids at the airport. They got a little teddy bear backpack. There's a little leash coming out of it. Go off, right? Because some kids, I guess, they do want to feel like they can be free. I think that the good old-fashioned leash is just holding their hand. If they're too small, that you're worried about them getting hit by a car or getting hit by a raccoon. I was confused by that. I will say, as a child who was put on a leash for a period of time, look, I get it. I almost never say this, but they had a point. You know what I mean? Like, some kids are a little bit wily, and I think people coming for parents that do that and are being judgmental, I think it's like they're just trying to make themselves feel better, because most kids are strapped into their little strollers or strapped to the chest of the parent in like a little straitjacket anyway. Yeah. So I don't know what they're talking about. Like, you're not letting your kid go free. Would you put your kid on a leash?
I don't know.
What if they wouldn't stop digging up your...
That's true.
Right? That's so brutal.
That's so funny.
And pinned to the patio table too. Like, that's true.
I know, poor kid.
Like a dog style. Damn.
From No Stupid Questions. How do couples decide which side of the bed is theirs? Is it instinct or some kind of silent agreement? I've never seen anyone discuss it. People just lie down once and suddenly that side is theirs for life. Is there a ritual that I missed? A coin toss? A primal bed claiming reflex? What if one of you wants the wall side and the other is also afraid of murderers?
Whoa.
Do you have a favorite side of the bed?
Right now I do, because I like hurt my rib or something from doing one pull-up a day for the last 3 months. So I have that preference. That usually it's based on like if I'm like in pain or like sore from some random thing I've decided to start doing. But do you have a strong preference?
No, not really. I'm a back sleeper though.
Okay. So it's a little easier for you.
Yeah, I'm not like constrained.
Right.
As a side sleeper, I would imagine.
I mean, I'm a stomach sleeper, so my favorite position is dead center starfishing.
Of course, you're a stomach sleeper. Just the mommy issues.
Oh wait, is that what it is? Oh shit. So that's why I have mommy issues, because I sleep on my stomach, or my mommy issues cause me to sleep on my stomach?
I think that's...
What is the correlation? No stupid questions.
I'm trying to think how I heard it explained.
Shots fired.
I do think, though, it makes sense, especially in heterosexual couples. I think there is some truth to the man should sleep closest to the door, because if there was a home invasion, you're the first line of defense.
Right.
I'm not going to be the sacrificial lamb.
Damn.
So you can take one for the team. So I'm happy to adjust my preferred position to make sure that you are the buffer with the door.
Well, you better make sure that you're with somebody who's stronger than you.
That's true.
Because, I get it. Like, you want to have the one person. But wait, what? I want to know the mommy issue stomach sleeper correlation.
I know, I can't. We'll have to look it up.
Okay.
We'll share it another episode.
Well, I'm excited. Yeah, let's do a whole episode about that.
Let's see. Top comment. Obviously, the best fighter gets the side where bad guys would come first.
Oh.
Or the most expendable. Mm-hmm. It's funny you mentioned this. My girlfriend, both in our 50s, and I sleep on different sides depending on where we are. Mm-hmm. At her old house, she slept on the left. At my house, I sleep on the left. In her new house, she sleeps on the right. When we are in hotels, I generally sleep on the left. There is no rhyme and reason. In her old house, she slept farther from the window. In her new house, closer to the window.
Whoa. I feel like it is usually unspoken, and it's usually just like one person who has a strong preference. And then like we are just all creatures of habit in the same way that it's like, you know, why do you go to class and you kind of always end up sitting in the same chair, and people like their little routines, and more often than not, people will park in the same kind of few spots that they can. So I feel like it's more so of that. I wasn't thinking it of like the protectiveness part, because for me, like if a man's in my house, that's probably when I'm feeling unsafe. I'm like, why are you in my bedroom? So that wouldn't really particularly make me feel a lot safer. I mean, just get a baseball bat. You know what I mean? But I love learning about all these different arrangements that people have. Okay, no stupid questions. I'm hoping you know the answer to this, KJ, 'cause I'm lost. Why did carrying water everywhere become a thing? I don't remember exactly when it happened or if there was a cause, maybe water quality issues. We have 20 to 30 water bottles in the house. I carried one for a while because the job I had terrible water, but beyond that, I never bothered. I drink water all the time, at home, at the gym, etc. If we're headed out somewhere, my wife will invariably say, "Wait, I need my water," and run back in the house for it, though it's very likely that wherever we're headed, we'll have water. So why did carrying water everywhere become a thing? What do you think, KJ?
I would probably credit the Stanley contagion.
Really?
When did Stanley start popping up? Was this COVID era?
This is COVID.
Yeah.
I think it's earlier than that.
Oh, you think
Nalgene.
earlier? Okay. Oh,
there was like the SIG era. Yeah.
It's kind of like any group think. Like, you know, everyone's obsessed with protein. I feel like everyone is obsessed with hydration, having to get their water in.
Yes. Which, like, I'm all for humans having water. I think that's huge. I think famously it's pretty important. Why did it become a huge thing? I kind of think it is what you're saying. I think it is just kind of like a trend and like people just kind of following each other, because
like the virtue signaling of walking around with
Yeah. I think it is that, because like we definitely have, if anything, more, generally speaking, if we're talking about like in America, it's like more access to water. There's never been more filtered water bottle stations and all these different things. So I do think it might just be like a trend thing or a flagging thing. I personally, from where I sit, it seems like people are constantly looking for ways to be as annoying as possible. So having a large metal bottle that they can just bash into everything, then bash their keys into it, and then put that in the center of the table, and like I'm like, where are you going?
Just the drama.
Literally, where are you going? And it always comes back to that to me, for I'm like, I think people just need more attention, and they're not getting enough positive attention at home. So then they're like, let me make people physically have to look at me. And then there's always the excuse of like, yeah, I didn't know people were so thirsty. I must be like a camel. I don't get that thirsty that often. I definitely like need to drink more water, if anything. But anytime I'm with a group of people, there's always like, it's hard to get 4 adults to be seated at the same time without somebody needing to get up and then empty out the entire water cooler into their like ugly ass travel mug. Like, chill.
Yeah.
Literally chill. With kids though too, like you didn't have like a water bottle when you were like in elementary school or anything, right? Even in high school, I feel like it was like just for sports. You know, we would have like water, be like, hey, you're allowed to drink water, or like you could go get a sip after gym class. But like nobody had everybody didn't have a little water bottle. It's funny because I don't think the reason is environmental concern or like actually caring about, I don't actually think that I think some people tell themselves that as an excuse to pay $60 for a water bottle. So they're like, well, I'm doing it for the environment. And then you can't like say anything. I can. You're not doing it for the environment, King, because look at the rest of your life. Let's just see if we missed anything. Okay, top comment. I recall celebrities suddenly having Evian in the early 90s. I'd never noticed bottled water before. Then it became inexpensive. Then plastic waste became a hot button issue. And then came the water bottle boom. Wow. Okay. Drink more water, everybody. And hey, get those bottles as big as you can. Let's get second and third cars so you can cart around all the water your family needs.
From No Stupid Questions. What's something that people don't understand until they experience themselves?
What the hell?
Okay, I'll tee us off. Top comment, aging.
Oh,
we were so foolish in our youth. I did not believe your back could actually hurt.
Damn. Okay, so what's something that people can't understand until they experience it?
Another one, vertigo. No, it's not just mildly annoying. You feel like you're free falling and it just doesn't stop. Migraines.
Oh.
Hear so many people not believe they're real/bad until they get one themselves.
Damn.
I would say for me, I broke my shoulder a few years ago and I'd never broken a bone. So it kind of gave me sympathy for orthopedic injuries. I know like many men grow up and they break bones. The recovery process is actually pretty humbling.
Pretty brutal.
So I think that.
Damn.
I'm sure childbirth.
I was going to say, I was going to say just like becoming a parent. If there's anything that I've heard ad nauseum, apparently like I can't even understand the concept of love until I've had a child.
Yeah.
So I look forward. I think I'm a pretty loving person. I feel very loved. I feel like my life is very full of love, but you know, I guess I don't even know what I'm experiencing. So, you know, it's not even love. So, I mean, that sounds pretty cool. What about like shrooms?
It's true. Psychedelics.
I think some psychedelics I don't think you could really describe. I mean, I've heard anecdotally like descriptions and things on other podcasts and scientific journals that I've read. And yeah, I don't know. I just can't even imagine what it would be like.
Probably alcohol.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think you could explain to someone what it feels like to be drunk.
Yeah, I guess that's
like
true.
maybe you viscerally wouldn't understand, or yeah, I don't know, maybe sucking and fucking. I would think that there's some boys in the comments, you know, you wouldn't know what it would feel like to have sex without a bag. I hope that's not in the comments, and I'm sorry for saying that, and we should absolutely cut that. But yeah, that's kind of like a heavy question. That's not a stupid question at all. That I'm like annoyed that I don't have a better answer for it. Okay, this is from No Stupid Questions. As a man, how can I be less scary? I've been jogging the same trail in my area for years now. Today I was doing my routine jog and something very out of the ordinary happened for me and it opened my eyes. I was jogging in a hoodie and sweatpants that match, had my headphones on and was in the zone doing my thing. I saw a woman coming my opposite direction as I was jogging and she immediately went from walking to running. When we passed, I smiled and waved, but she gave me a concerning look and kept running. About 30 seconds later, I looked back at her, and she looked back at me at the very same time. She'd stopped running, but started again when we looked at each other. I can't help but feel like she was running from me. I was literally just out on my routine jog. I was dressed modestly, and I didn't really do anything out of the ordinary, but I still couldn't help feel like I made her uncomfortable. This interaction overall left me feeling bad and in a way gross, like I could have done better. I don't know why this is sitting on my mind so hard, but it is, and I'd like to talk about it. I'd like to sit on this guy's face. For this king actually like noticing this, you know, like good job.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, I would say smile, but maybe that doesn't really help in the situation. I think there's just not much to be done, especially as women from an early age. We're usually taught to be wary of men in situations like that. You know, if a man's walking behind you, cross to the other side of the street.
I think that's great advice for a guy. Well, we're told to cross.
Yeah, we're told. The woman's told.
But he's saying, how does he make himself less scary? It is like, you know, hearing him spell it out, like, yeah, like that is probably like startling to experience that, being like, oh, wow, I'm like scaring this person and I'm literally like not a scary person and I'm totally innocent. That is a privilege that he's thinking like that, because it's not his fault that women have to live like this. It's like the entire world's fault. Like we're all, you know, contributing to it and stuff. But it's a privilege that he's never even had that thought or had to think about it, because as a man, like you're not constantly subjected to violence at the same rate and in the same way that women are. So I think I think this is the opposite of a stupid question. I think it's a great question. And I think, yeah, if you are in an on an isolated trail and it's just like one woman there, or you're walking down the street late at night and she's walking ahead, you cross the street. Give some space. Pause for a couple minutes and look at your phone and let them get a little bit of a lead. Like, you're not doing anything wrong. Like, I think like a friendly wave is nice, but like, you don't know who she just saw on the other end of the trail, or like what experiences she's had every other day of her life. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard because it's like, oh, make him less scary. Like, smile. It's like, that can be kind of scary. Or like, say hello. Ooh, don't talk to me. Or like, wear something that's like, I don't even know.
I don't know. I think don't take it personally.
That's great advice. Yeah. I don't think that's going to make you less scary, but I think that's a great starting point. But I would say, yeah, if you're a man and you are in a situation where like you're with a woman that you don't know in like an isolated area, like just give them some fucking space. That could be huge.
Yeah.
And most men don't do that. And they just are like, well, I'm not scary, so why is it bad if I'm just following her and trailing her the whole time?
Yeah.
You know? Bright colors, happy colors, you know, blast some Britney Spears music. I don't know, something.
No stupid questions. Did people memorize numbers before mobile phones?
Yeah.
Yeah. Top comment. Yeah, pretty much. I had all the important numbers metaphorically burned into my brain in a handwritten phone number book at home for the numbers I use less often. Still remember my best friend's phone number from 30 years ago, for example.
Yeah, we definitely, that's so funny. This episode should literally be called, How Do You Make Yourself Feel Like You're 90 million years old? When I was in school, we didn't have water and we didn't have ChatGPT.
I know. Same. It was so much easier to memorize them than to have to look them up every time you wanted to call. I still have so many useless numbers stored in my head, all my friends' parents' home numbers.
What do you think is like the utility? Like, do you think that it would be wise to memorize a few numbers now in this modern day and age? Like, what do you think?
I think so. I think a few. Like, if you lose your phone, arguably, you should still be able to call someone.
Yeah.
Yes. But I'm just not, like, do you have your credit cards memorized?
No.
No, I don't either. But people memorize theirs. I haven't struggled with my license plate.
Well, women be shopping. I don't know I'll tell you this. I don't know my license plate. I don't know the phone number of, I think, almost anyone in my life. Like, nothing is coming to mind literally except my childhood best friend's landline number. I don't know my debit card. I know my social security number. I know my phone number.
My social.
Honey, that's a struggle half the time. I started with that. That was a big one. Let's make sure that I got that locked down before I'm moving on to anybody else. Yeah, I think, you know, I would hope I'd be able to log in some other way, or I would just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not going to call 911.
1 or 2, you're probably good.
1 or 2 would be good. Okay, I'm going to try to memorize your phone number. The business, I memorized it. I call you. I'm so excited to tell you I memorized the number. You send it straight to voicemail. This is from No Stupid Questions. And I'd like you to take this seriously. Is my dad gay? Okay, we're going to help this person. Growing up, my dad had an older male friend. Sus. They worked together and would often hang out on weekends. To give some context into the time period, this all took place in the early 90s, and my dad at the time was in his 30s, while the older male friend was in his 60s. As a kid, I didn't really understand how strange it was, but my dad's friend we called Uncle Jim would often buy my father expensive gifts. I'm talking hi-fi stereos, camcorders, art, expensive firearms, concerts, and NFL tickets, all sorts of things. Many of these items were worth thousands of dollars in the early 90s, so today, adjusted for inflation, some of them are kind of absurd. I can be fairly generous, but as a millennial, I cannot imagine giving a friend a gift worth $5,000, let alone a dozen of them, all over a period of just a few years. He did not have the type of job that would make him extremely wealthy either. Uncle Jim made good money for the time, but was probably earning somewhere in the 70 to 100K range. He was not married, but apparently had an adult son he was estranged from, but no family he regularly was in touch with. Then at some point in the mid-90s, Uncle Jim and my father had a very abrupt falling out, and we never saw him again. In the past, we've joked with my dad about it, and he just laughed it off without explaining what happened or why Uncle Jim bought him so many expensive gifts. You may be wondering why my dad wouldn't be more open about it, but he is married from a small conservative community and has grown more conservative over the years. Okay. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't think so either.
I think you can have a special relationship, and maybe there's some undertones, but I don't really like to judge people's sexuality.
Yeah, I think that's a good rule of thumb. Yeah, I mean, I like to judge people's sexuality, so I'll win, but but it just made me laugh that this was the thread that they chose to post it in. Like, there was something about the positioning of that kind of just like made me laugh. And it also makes me sad because it's like, men should be allowed to, like, all people should be allowed to just like have friends and have a friend be generous towards them and not have it mean that they're gay. I mean, I think that, like, number one, you don't know what the financial situation of Uncle Jim is. Like, just because in your brain from a child you think that that's what you have no fucking clue what anybody's financial situation is. Like, to one person $5,000 is so much, to that it might have been absolutely nothing. And then it's also kind of funny to me that they're narrowing it to like, oh, that must mean that dad's gay. It's like, or Uncle Jim did something really fucked up and your dad is like holding it over him, or blackmail, or like, there's so many arguably like more fun hypotheticals of what the situation would be. The gayest thing about the dad is that he is getting more and more conservative over the years. And that does, in my mind, trend towards underlying homosexuality. Based on my research and work I've done, which has been extensive.
From No Stupid Questions. Today I told my mom that I have no internal monologue, and she stared at me like I have three heads. Is having one common? I sincerely thought it was a fictional concept that Dexter made up.
What?
It shocks me beyond belief to know that people may have one. How do you do it? I can't imagine doing that. Edit. Yes, guys, I get it. I'm an NPC.
Whoa.
So top comment goes, I'm so confused by this thread. My mind's racing. What is a thought without an inner voice?
Yeah. Wait, yeah, this is kind of, okay, what are they defining, or like what would you define as inner monologue? Just like narrating what you're doing, or like, I mean, Dexter is kind of a different thing to me.
Yeah, I didn't watch Dexter that religiously, so I don't know that reference. But I guess just like thoughts.
Right.
Internal thoughts.
I think I definitely have what their definition is. I mean, like in Dexter, he's more like telling stories. I don't think that, and it's like a lot of the time it's voiced over like what he's actually doing, or he's like describing the actual, I don't know, murder or thing.
Yeah. I think it seems normal for people to have inner monologues. It seems like people struggle with kind of, almost negative self-talk. Like,
oh my God.
limiting beliefs.
Yes.
We all have, I don't know how else anxiety manifests other than some sort of like internal monologue.
I guess like my stupid question would be, what is the alternative? So are people just walking around, having no
content in their brain?
Thoughts? Like they're truly just, they're doing everything on auto. Like they're not even thinking to themselves like, okay, I got my wallet, I got my keys, right? I'm going down to the car. Like, wait, where did I park again? Like what? I don't even I actually can't conceptualize what that would look like. That would all be gone?
I guess so.
Whoa.
Let's see if there's any. It could be multiple things, images, feelings, unsymbolic things that are in your mind before you translate them to words. This is a great way to put it. I don't have an inner monologue either. Anytime I have to communicate outside my head with words, I have to translate what I'm thinking. That takes time and effort. It's why I vastly prefer written communication over verbal, since you can take more time than the instant response of verbal conversation requires. When I know I will need to verbally communicate, such as if I need to make a phone call or bring up a topic at a meeting, I prepare mentally as much as possible so I know what words I actually need to say. Whoa. On the other hand, if I'm in a conversation where I haven't had time to organize and translate my thoughts ahead of time, I constantly have long pauses where I'm doing it in real time, which comes off as weird to people who notice it. This annoyed my wife for a long time until we both realized why it was happening.
But that doesn't even sound like an inner monologue to me. That sounds like how they process information or like how they communicate. I'm just still stuck on the fact that like, what would that be like to just be walking around and having just head empty? I don't know. That kind of feels like what I imagine it would feel like to be like, I'm not trying to say this disrespectfully, but to be like a dog or something. It's like they hear the door open. Oh my God, my family's here. Oh, there's food in my bowl. Oh, okay. So is it just like hyper presence or like,
I guess so.
What's the point of meditation? Like meditation would be
to quiet the mind.
To quiet the loud voices, saying the quiet part out loud. I mean, it sounds peaceful as hell.
Yeah.
If there was like something that I could try that, like I'd be down. I think it would freak me out though. Okay, this is from No Stupid Questions. Why do girls all seem to have the same bubbly handwriting while dudes look like they write with their feet? Seriously, every time I see a woman's handwriting, it looks like they've picked up a pencil and had the most fun of their lives. And dudes look like they write with the wrong hand. Okay, what do you think?
This is an easy one for me, at least. I think there was a period, I want to call it around third grade, where maybe in class we have extra time. And I know amongst like the female friends I had, you kind of almost got a little competitive in terms of like who had good handwriting. And so I think we really leaned into it during those years to have like enviable handwriting. So, and that just maybe sticks with it.
Whoa. But would that have as much of a, I mean, maybe it's our handwriting in general in society is probably deteriorated now that most things are digital or typed.
Because that's when we were learning cursive.
Yes. Right. And like tracing the letters around. And I mean, I think it's a stereotype for a reason. But have you, like, I mean, for myself, my handwriting definitely, I don't even think it looks like I wrote it with my feet. I think it looks like somebody like ran over like a whole crate of pens with like a semi truck. I've been told it looks like serial killer handwriting. You know, so my handwriting's not neat. I've seen men that have nice handwriting. I've seen like, I mean, nurses and doctors famously horrible handwriting. So I'm not sure.
I think if anything, men are more into their signatures than women. I have noticed that men love developing their signature.
Yes. I think that, but like when you actually look at the end result, it usually looks like shit. I think it's more about just being able to like widely gesture with a pen. But yeah, I do think it's got to be like a social conditioning thing a little bit more. And like, can we have somebody come up and like write the practice sentence on the board like very nicely? And then like, because we live in such a kind of like damaged society, it's like, you know, if a boy went up there, then they might be like, oh, you're girly or you're gay because you have good handwriting, which is not true. And you need somebody around that has nice handwriting. They're hard to find.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hard to come by. I'm going to start practicing my penmanship for you, KJ. I think that's the app.
Yeah, beautiful. We'll see you in the next episode.
Let's do it.